Done. Hello, each of you guys. I hope you are well. Just like the previous sessions, we do a quick review on what we had in last session, and then the topic for tonight is working on loops and iteration. Before talking about the new topic, firstly, let's see what we had in previous session. We work with if and conditionals. So as discussed, when we want to make a decision or when we want to ask your code to us to make a decision, we can use if. If has its own syntax. You need to break down your code into two parts: test expressions or if expression, and the body of if. So as you see here, in the first sentence, I have if, the expression is in blue, and then you need to use colon. Using colon is important. It's the syntax of Python. So it knows that this part is done, and then it goes to the next line. It's looking for the if conditions. In the next line, instead of having a condition, I have another if. So this example, that there are two if, this is the first one. If tomorrow is sunny, and then you have the other one. And also if tomorrow is Sunday. When you have more than one if, we name it nested if. So nested is simply mean having one condition inside another condition, as you see in this example. This was the algorithm. So this algorithm is so important. And for your assessment task too also, there's a question asking for a flowchart or algorithm of your code. So it's good to write down step by step what you need to do. You can put it in this way in a flowchart, or it's totally fine if you want to write down all the steps line by line in your own language, not in Python language, in your own language. And it's really helpful when you want to write the codes for complex tasks. It's better to write down all the steps that you need to do. And after writing down all the steps, just put yourself in Python position and imagine you've been addressed all the things. Then you need to convert it to Python. When there are two situations, when you have one if, and if that condition is not true, it's false, you need to define what needs to be done. In that case, you can use else. Again, like if, else also needs to have a colon, and also it has a body of else. So in this case, when you have if and when you have else, if the condition is true or if the expression is true, it goes and execute body of if. If the if expression or test expression is not true and it's false, then it goes to else and body of else will be executed. So just like Python will ignore and skip if statement and it goes to else statement. Like this case, if the age is over 18, print something. If not, print something different. So if the condition is false, the body of else will be executed. If there are multiple options, when you have multiple options, you can use elif. For example, you have 4, 5 options. The first one should be if, the second one, the third, the fourth, the fifth, they can all be else. And also you can use else as well. When you're using else, you need to be cautious, because when you're using else, it means anything not addressed above, anything not addressed in the above elif includes in else. So sometimes there might be unwanted situations that you don't want to include it in else, but because when you say else, else means, hey Python, if you couldn't find any true statement in the above, just put it here in this category, just put it in the else. And as discussed, it includes all other possible options. So make sure when you're using else, that else includes everything. Also, we had a chat about comparison operators. So when you use double equal sign, it means that Python goes and check the right side and the left side of this double equal sign. And if they are the same, if they are identical, it will perform a task or not perform a task. If the two sides are not the same, they're different. So you show it with that sign, exclamation mark, equal. And you also use the other greater than, less than, greater than or equal, and less than or equal. The flowchart for using elif is pretty similar to this. So you have an expression. If it's true, it goes and run body of if. If the expression is false, it goes to expression of elif. If it's true, it goes and execute body of elif. And also if the elif is not true, it goes to the next elif, to the next elif, to the next elif. And eventually, if it can't find any true statement, it will stop with no results. So if you want to show a final outcome, if all the if statements are wrong, you can use else. Okay, so that was everything that we discussed, plus so many practical activities in the previous class, like discount calculator, tax calculator, BMI, authentication check. Let me reshare my screen and go to Google Colab. So yeah, just check how many activities and examples we worked in the previous sessions. Rate calculator, let you go up, temperature converter, age converter, currency converter, interest rate calculator, BMI calculator. Here we learn how to use if, for example, to detect if a number is positive or negative, to find if a number is odd or even. Here we have another code to print the grade, if grade is A, B, C, or if it's distinction, high distinction, credit, pass, or whatever. A speed find calculator, so exactly the same code that we have in speed cameras to check if the speed is over 40, if it's over 50, 60, and etc., and calculating the infringement, and also calculating the demerit points. Car fuel warning, to check if the car fuel level is less than a threshold and gives you a warning. ATM withdraw, exactly the same things that we have in ATM machines, to print if your balance is sufficient to have a withdraw or if it's not. Temperature checker. So these are all the codes that we use in the previous class. I'm also using some cybersecurity examples like this one, checking if the port is HTTP or HTTPS and allowing the traffic, or if the ports are different and the traffic is denied. Authentication checker, to go and check if the username and passwords are correct to allow the login, or if they are wrong, to type access is denied. Discount calculator. So we work on so many. Let's do work in a final example for if, and then we can start talking about loops. Okay, in this next code, pizza shop menu. Imagine that we want to write a code. We start pretty simple and then we make it harder and harder. So imagine it's a pizza shop. In this pizza shop, imagine we are providing and we are selling 3 different sizes of pizza. A small size is, how much to say for a small size? 20 bucks. 20 bucks for a small size. Medium size, let's say it's 25 bucks. And large, let's say it's 30 bucks. Let's show it with uppercase. So small 20 bucks, medium 25 bucks, large is 30. Drink, like to show it with D. Drink should be 5 bucks. And delivery 10 bucks for order less than 100. Okay, so just take the time and write the code for such a menu that there are only 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. If the customer wants to add drink, each drink also. should cost $5. Delivery, $10 if the order is less than $100, and if it's more than 100, delivery should be free. So just take the time and write the code for this menu, and then we add more extensions to it. So please take the time, think about it, write down all the steps that it's needed, and then try to convert it to Python. Okay, so let's write the code with Chajam. Firstly, you can start your code with a banner. We call this banner, and later on, if you go to set for cybersecurity, you see we work with banners as well. So you can print something like welcome to Zach Pizza Shop. So I will print this for the first sentence. Welcome to Zach's Pizza Shop. Then After printing this banner, you can ask for the size and you can ask for the drink. Again, your code might be different. It doesn't mean that there is only one way to write the code. If your code is different but it's working, that's totally fine. At this stage, because I want to ask for the size of the pizza, so it's good to create a variable and name it size. For the size, I need to ask what size the customer is asking for, small, medium, or large. So input, when you want to ask a questions and get the response, we use input. Then you can ask your questions. What size you would like to order? So here, in order to get this data, we type this sentence inside input. But later on, when you learn, for example, on how to develop a website, then you can connect this code to the front end. In the front end, you may have an icon for the small size, for medium size, for large size. Obviously, you have different pizzas, pepperoni, meat, chef special, or whatever. And instead of asking these questions, when customers they go and click on each icon, it gets those data. When they add it to the cart, it gets those data. At this stage, because we don't have the front end, so we manually enter those information. But later on, it can get this data from the front end. So what size would you like to order? Here, do we need to use int or float at the beginning of input? The answer is no. Why? Because we are not looking for a number, we are looking for size, and size is a string. So what size you would like to order? And here you can specify small, medium, or large. Or imagine it's uppercase, and then also I show you how to turn an uppercase to lowercase. So S for small, you can put it this way, S for small, M for medium, and L for large. So this variable asks for the size. Also, you need to ask if the customer wants to order drink as well. So you can create another variable. And the same, you can ask if the customer wants to get drink as well. Would you like to get a drink? Get a drink as well. So now we have two variables, one for the pizza size and the other one to ask for the drink. Okay, so now we have all the data. The next step is to go and perform the calculation. Okay, so the questions that Mahmoud asked, if you want to order more than one, two small ones and three large ones. So you can think about it after finishing this one. At this stage, it just allows you to order one small or one drink. So you can think about it, and after that, we go and work on this example as well. If you want to have multiple orders, one small, one medium, one large, and five drinks. So you can see how to write that code. I will have a look on your code, Peter, as well. Firstly, let's finish this one. So print the banner, ask for the size, ask for the drink. Here, I can create a variable, name it total or total bill. So what it does, it's calculated the total bill. And for the beginning, I say, look, put value of 0 in this variable. So I assign 0 to this variable. Then you see that it's automatically writes the code for me. If the size is S, total is equal to total plus 20. So firstly and initially you have total as 0. If customer selects a small size, so 0 plus 20, it's 20. Total should be 20 in the left side, I mean. If they select a medium size, 25 plus 0, because here you have 0 as the total. So 0 plus 25, it's 25. And if it's 30, it's 30 plus 0, it's 30. Here also, Google Colab suggests to have else for all other options. For example, if instead of S, M, and L, if the customer select N or W or X or Y or any other letter which is not in the menu, it says invalid size. Okay, cool. It means that only accept S, M, and L. For any other input, like numbers, other letters, or other symbols, just print invalid size. Okay, so that's for the pizza. Now also you need to add a drink as well. So you can say if drink is Y, which means that if drink is yes, then whatever you have in the total, add 5 to it as well. So the total should be 20. If you selected a small size, it add 5 to 20 should be 25. Okay, and your total is total. So this sentence, Google Colab suggested, but it's not correct because we need to add delivery as well. So I delete it at this stage because I need to add for the delivery. So I create another if total is less than 100, then add $10 to the total bill as well. And if it's over 100, so just skip this stage and print your total bill is total. Let's see if our code is working or not. Okay, so I have a syntax error and it says in line 13, invalid syntax, you have a plus sign and it's correct. So here I have a plus sign, I delete it. Okay, welcome to Zach's Pizza Shop. What size you would like to order? A small, medium, or large? So I would say I would like to order a small one. Would you like to get a drink as well? I say yes. So I'm expecting to see the total bill of 20 plus 5 plus 10, which is 35. 20 for the pizza, $5 for the drink, and $10 for delivery. So let's see. It says your total bill is 35, which is correct. Let's rerun the code. This time I select large. For the drink, I say no. And it says your total bill is 40. So $30 for the pizza and $10 for delivery, which is 40. So it's working. Now let's do check for the medium size as well. So medium size, would you like to get a drink as well? Yes. $40, which is correct. 25 plus 5 plus 10, it's 40. Let's show you what happens if instead of saying small, medium, or large, I put P. Would you like to get a drink? Yes. It says invalid size, but also it printed. So we learn how to avoid this problem. So at this stage, we don't have the skills, we don't have the tool to avoid this problem. So what happened here? For the pizza size, I put something wrong, like P, which is not in the menu. So it printed invalid size, but it didn't stop the whole process. It went through and said, okay, so your total bill is 15. But what happens here? What is this 15? It's the drink price plus delivery. So you can think about this, how to fix it, but you see that it printed invalid size. Let's rerun the code and imagine instead of saying I want to order a small size, but instead of using S in uppercase, I put S in lowercase. I want to order a small one, but I put S in lowercase. Would you like to get a drink? Again, yes, but a lowercase. Again, it says there is an invalid size. It didn't detect when I said I want to order a small one, but I put S with lowercase, it didn't detect it. And we already expect that. Why? Because Python is case sensitive. So if you want to fix this issue, let me to teach you another trick. If you want to also accept, or if you want to make it indifferent for Python, if the user put a lowercase or uppercase, here at the end of input, you can put dot lower and open and close the parentheses, just that. So what it does, if you already put an uppercase, it changes it to lowercase, and if it's a lowercase, it's lowercase, which is fine. So it accepts both. But what about the drink? Yes, you can change it to lower or upper. It's all up to you. Instead of lower, you can change it to upper. So if someone puts a lowercase, it changes it to lower. What about here? So if size is S, you need to change the size to lowercase as well, M and L. So you can go this way, or if you want to have it uppercase, instead of lower, you can type dot upper, parentheses open, parentheses close. So let's rerun the code. What size of pizza you want to order? If I type capital S and yes with capital, you see that now the code is working. Again, you can change lowercase to uppercase in your if conditionals and dot upper. So if the user puts a lowercase s or a lowercase m or a lowercase l, it will change it. Instead of lower, you can change it to upper. You can go this way as well. It's all up to you to make it indifferent for Python. Otherwise, Python is case sensitive, and if someone puts a wrong uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't recognize it. So let's see what you have in your code, in your chat. Your code has a variable called medium, so Python knows that if you type medium, good, correct, Lin, yes, you are correct. Correct. That's okay, Mac. Can we add both yes and void to our program in case someone answers with a lowercase? Yes, so Lin answered your question. Yes, you're correct, Lin, but still we didn't learn about the f function. So at this stage, we are not using those skills. We don't have those tools in our toolbox. Still, we are using with the very basic tools. So we don't know what is curly bracket, and we are not sure what is f function. But you're right. No worries. It's the last one because it's the hardest one. That's okay. Cool. So what if you want to allow for multiple items? It's pretty easy. So instead of writing the code this way, you can add 4 variables to check for quantity. How to do that? Pretty simple. So the first line is okay. It's a banner. For the size, instead of having size and drink as our variables, again, imagine that I'm using the very basic commands. You can delete this, and instead you can type a small and then int input, and then ask how many small pizzas you want to order. So it fixed that issue. How many small pizzas you want to order. The same for medium and large and drink, and then now you have a variable to count for the number of each item, like this. Medium is equal to int, again input, how many medium pizza, how many large pizzas. Also here, Google Colab is suggesting to add a variable for delivery as well. So you can have it or you can change it to drink. And again for drink, input, enter, input, and how many drinks you want to order. Okay, then for the total bill, you can simply change this formula to something like uh, this. Small time 20, medium time 25, large time 20, large times 30, drink times 20, drink times 5. And if the total is less than 100, to plus 10. If it's more than 100, just to go to the final print. So technically here, we cannot use this if. So I can delete it. Let's see if our code is working that way. If total is less than 100, go and print this, and eventually total bill. Let's see how many small pizzas you want to order. 2. How many medium size? 3. How many large? 0. How many drinks? 3. So it prints that your total bill is 133. So I can delete this line and rerun the code. 2, 3, 0, 3. So your total bill is 130. So each small ones are 20, 220 is 40, 325 is 75, 75 plus 40, it's 115 plus 15, it's 130, and delivery also is 0 because the order is over $100, and you see it's working. Again, you can just change it to different scenarios if you wish. Just think about it. For example, imagine you want to add the option for extra cheese. You want to add the option for extra, I don't know, capsicum. Imagine you can add some options for the base. Do you want to have it gluten-free or all of those things? You can create some variables and customer is able to go and select. You can add the specials. I don't know, for example, if the order is over 130, they can get, I don't know, 2 garlic bread as well. Something like that. So you see that it opened for you and you see it's working. And as discussed later on, instead of manually entering this data, you can connect it to the front end. So when customers goes add the items to the cart, it automatically calculate. Then you can also send all of this information to send it to a printer. How do you consider the lower and capital letters of y? A dot and then lower? Yes. So it depends to what you want to do. If you want to only accept lowercase at the end of input, you put dot lower. So what happens here? If you put dot lower, it means if I put capital S, it will change it to lowercase. If you put lowercase, that's okay. It doesn't do anything because it's already lowercase. Or if you want to change it to uppercase. But here, because I'm looking and asking for a number, so it's not correct to put lower here. We just use lower when we have a string. I remember that we had a converter also. You can think about the previous examples and equip them with if. We had here, for example, for BMI, what we did in the previous example. Let me, so you can go and use all the previous examples, but this time add if to your code as well. Code Sorry, I want to add it here at the bottom. So imagine that we already had BMI calculator, weight, and calculating the BMI, but it didn't say that if you have obesity, if you have normal size. Let's have another look. BMI calculator. So here you can use if with those previous codes as well. All of the previous codes, you can just work as an activity and use them with if. So here you see that if you are in the border of 18.5, underweight, between 18.5 and 25, it's normal. Between 25 and 30, it's overweight, and over 30, it's obesity. So 18.5. Here you have all the calculations. You are asking for the inputs. So what you can do, instead of printing, you can say if BMI automatically collapse adjusted to me. Thank you so much, Column. If BMI is less than 18.5, then print you are underweight. If it's less than 25 but over 18.5, you're normal. If it's between 25 to 30, it's overweight. And else you have obesity. So here let's do test 180 and weight of 85. So it says that you are in overweight zone, 180 and 85. Let's do run our code. We lose 85 in meter, 1.8, which is 180. And it says you are overweight. So you are overweight, and you see here in this website, it shows you are overweight. What happens if I change 180 to 160? So it shows obesity area 160 and 85. Let's rerun our code. What was the number? 160 and 85. So 85 and 160. So you're, sorry, 160 and 85. 160 and 85. 85 and 160. It says underweight. Oh, because I put 160 as centimeter, I should put it as meter. 85, 160. So you see that it correctly works. Here it's the backend code. Later on, you can connect it to the front end to show something like this in a graph or in a chart. Or I remember that we work with converters. Again, you can go find the converter, BMI calculator, interest rate, currency converter, age converter, temperature converter, for example. You can copy your converters and you can use if. In this case, let's just see how we are able to improve it with using if. For example, Fahrenheit, you get the input as Fahrenheit, and then you want to have multiple options. Let's do see what is the formula. So Fahrenheit to Celsius converter. So you get Fahrenheit, and in the other side, you may have Celsius and Kelvin. Celsius and Kelvin. So you can use if, or you can ask for the users if they want to convert it to Celsius or if they want to convert it to Kelvin. And then saves those data in another variable like convert. Convert is equal, then you ask for the conversion. Do you want to convert it to Celsius or Fahrenheit? And here you can say C or F, C or Kelvin, because we already have Fahrenheit. So let's change this to Kelvin. Kelvin. So you get the temperature as Fahrenheit, and then you ask if your user wants to convert it to Celsius or if they want to convert it to Kelvin. So C for Celsius and K for Kelvin. Here, I just want to change it to lower. And then it's pretty easy. You can type if convert is C, which means turn it to Celsius. It needs to be one space indented and then print as well. So if Celsius selected, it goes and perform this calculation. Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5 divided by 9, and then it will print temperature in Celsius will be Celsius. If they want to convert it to Kelvin, you can use elif. So if it's conversion to Kelvin, this is the formula, Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5. If you don't know what is the formula, you can go and check here. For example, Fahrenheit is 1, and you see the formula. Formula to convert Fahrenheit to Kelvin is this formula. Minus 32 times 5 divided by 9 plus 273.50. So we have the same formula here. Okay, so now you see that we made our previous code even better. We have that option. So let's see if it works. Enter temperature in Fahrenheit. I'll put 56, for example. Do you want to convert it to Celsius or Kelvin? So I want to convert it to Celsius. Enter. So it says temperature in Celsius will be 13.33. So 56 in Fahrenheit. Let's to test. 56 in Fahrenheit. And if you want to convert it to Celsius, so you see that it's 13.3333. If you want to avoid having a big number like that, you can round it. Again, I'll show you in the previous class how to round it. You can type round here. Let's just see if I convert it to Kelvin also. So 56 to Kelvin should be 286. Let's try. 56, and I want to convert it to Kelvin. So this time I use lowercase, so it should be okay. And it says 286.48. 286.48. So it's working. Cool, yeah. So you see that you have exactly the same thing. Instead of clicking, so here you are in the front page. And you can move your mouse or enter and select each item that you want to do. Here I have the code, if, and else. The same thing for all the other previous codes that you had. Just go find those codes and then use if. For example, you can use if for interest rate calculator. You can check and you can add if to ask for simple interest rate calculation or compounding. Currency converter, the same. Input might be Australian dollar, output, if it's euro, time it by 0.56. If it's US dollar, if it's yen, if it's yuan, the same. So it's the previous code that we had for conversion. Let's do see what is the rate today. AUD to yuan is 4.64. So here yuan is what 4.64. Euro AUD to euro, it's 56 still. In USD, it's 0.65. So USD is 0.65. So you can have the rates here. Euro 56, yuan 4.64, USD 65. So you have the rates here. Then you have a variable for conversions. Do you want to convert it to euro, yuan, or USD? So you can type E, U, or U. Then you can use lower to change it to lowercase. Cool. And you see that it automatically suggests me if the conversion is E, changing to euro, Australian dollar time euro. And then print that equals to blah euro. If the conversion is yuan or Y, Australian dollar time yuan. So just put yourself in Python position. For example, if you say I want to convert it to yuan, firstly it goes here, Australian dollar. The data for this variable is coming from the first line. Enter amount in Australian dollar and save it in AUD. So if you say I have 500 Australian dollar, it goes and save here. And in this calculation, 500 goes here, time, yuan. What is the value of yuan? So you say 4.64. So if you have 1000 Australian dollar or 500 Australian dollar time 4.64, then you have a simple print. The same for US dollar. If convert is U, then Australian dollar time USD, and then print that equals to USD. Else, print invalid input. Cool, so now it's working. Let's test. Let's test. For example, imagine I have 1234 Australian dollar, and in US dollar, it's 802.58. So let's test. Let's run our code. Enter amount in Australian dollar, 1234. Do you want to convert it to euro, yuan, or USD? I want to convert it to USD. And it says it's 802.1. 802.58. It's pretty close. Why? Because we rounded the currency rate, we rounded it. Let's do also check if I have 234 and I want to convert it to yuan. Where is yuan? UD to yuan. And I have 2,345 bucks. So it should be something around 10,850 Chinese yuan. Let to test. So rerun the code. How much money you have in Australian dollar? 2,345. Do you want to convert it to euro, yuan, or USD? I want to convert it to yuan. And it says it should be 10,880, 10,870. Pretty close. Again, it's just because we rounded those numbers. So the same, if you want to have all of those currencies, they all need to have a line of code like this. Firstly, you need to put the rates, and every day those rates fluctuate. So you can change those rates manually. Usually the money exchange, they change those rates manually, or you can connect those data or feed those variables from another resource. For example, go and check the euro rate from this website with the help of API. That's pretty easy. You will learn how to do it later in step 4. You can write a code using APIs. You can put your code, push your code, go and get this data from these resources. For gold price, go and get it from this link. For weather, go and get it from this link. For currency exchange rate, go and get it from those resources, or you can change it manually. And then you have a bunch of codes like that. Then you learn how to set up a website if you wish to create a web page like this, having a logo, a chart, the positions, the locations, colors, fonts, all of those things. And then when your code is ready for the backend, you use these codes. Cool. So let's go to loop. Let me go to my board. So you can do that as an activity if you're interested. For all the previous codes, just go and see if you're able to insert if into those codes as well. Let you go to loop. Let me reshare my screen. Share screen. Okay. The next topic is loop, Python loop. What is a loop? A loop in a simple means repeating. So when you want to ask your program to repeat a task multiple times, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 1 million times. As discussed before, one of the advantages of using interpreter-based programming language is for automation. And automation means repeating a task again and again and again. So a loop lets your program to repeat a block of code multiple times. It's very useful because later on, if you go to set 4, we use automation a lot. For example, imagine attackers, they try to crack a password. They go and check every potential combination of numbers, letters, and etc. And if there is no mechanism to lock the account, they just keep trying all possible options. Imagine an attacker, they try to scan how many devices we may have in our network, how many PCs, how many servers, how many IoT devices. There might be million of devices or endpoints in a big network. So they write some programs using loops They are able to go and scan multiple ports. They can go and check multiple logs. Imagine, for example, you work in cybersecurity in a business and there are over 10,000 devices in your network. You want to write a code instead of manually performing a task like checking if all the PCs are updated into the latest version, if all the 10,000 PCs in a campus, they have the minimum security baseline, if they have all of those things. Instead of doing it manually, you will write some lines of codes for this process. Test multiple password, for example. Python has two main type of loops. So Python has two main types of loops. The first one, we name it for loop. For loop, what it does, it repeats for each item in a sequence. So repeat for each item in a sequence. We will see how to use it, but firstly, let's to know how it works. Sequence, and then we have while or while loop. So what is a while loop? Repeats while a condition is true. Pretty similar to if conditionals. It repeat while a condition is true. If I want to explain it in a simple, for means go and repeat this task 256 times. Go and perform this task 500 times. So it knows that I need to repeat this task 500 times. So it has a counter and it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like you go to gym and you say that you need to have, I don't know, 3 sets of 15 doing this action, for example. So you know that I have 3 rounds. In each round, I need to do this task 15 times, 20 times, 12 times. While we'll repeat the condition while it's true. It means that just go and do this till when I tell you. So you don't know to repeat it 10 times or 20 times or 200 times. Just keep repeating this till when I tell you. Go outside and play till the weather gets rainy, for example. So you don't know. It may take you half an hour. It may take you 2.5 hours. You don't know. Let's focus more. Firstly, I go to for. So when we use for, when we know how many times you want to repeat the task. So we use for when we know exactly, we know how many times. How many times you want to repeat something. If you have those information, if you know how many times you want to repeat an action, we need to use for. If you don't know how many times, but until a condition is true, so we need to use loop. Pretty similar to if and conditionals. When you want to use for, your sentence firstly should start with for. Like if that you put if, you should start with for. And there are a couple of options. The first option that you can use, it's called simple repetition. So simple simple repetition. In simple repetition, the syntax is like this. You say for I, if you ask why I, why not B, C, D, or item or name, that's totally fine. It's a counter. For I, the other syntax that you need to follow is using in and range. For I in range, I is the counter. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Range is the number of attempts, the number of repetition. For example, if I say for I in range of 5, it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times. For I in range of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pretty similar to if, you need to use colon. Again, that's the syntax. So this is the expression, and then pretty similar to if, it needs to have the body. In body, you can say print something like attempt number. We do this in Google Colab as well, attempt number. So this is a string, comma, I. First thing, you see that I have an indentation here. So a space. What happens in this code? For I in range of 5, go and print number. So this is a string, and then print I. I start with 0. So Python goes to this first line. Python goes to the first line, and it assumes that the first attempt is 0. So it says for me, I is equal to 0. What should I do? I need to type attempt number is I. So it prints attempt number 0. When it prints this sentence, it doesn't go to the next block. In the previous case, you see that when you're using if, it went to the next block, or it's a stop the whole process. But when you're using for, it means you are asking Python, hey, when you finish the first step, go back to the above line, and now increase your counter one number. So if it was 0, this time it becomes 1. Then again, print attempt number 1. When you finish that, again, go back and increase I by 1 digit, make it 2. So I is equal to 2, attempt number 2. The same, go up 3, attempt number 3. Then again, go up, increase it, attempt number 4. For how many times? 5 times. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will print attempt number 5 times. Let's see this, and then I come back again to my board. Let's switch my screen. For is the syntax. You see when you type 4, it turns to purple. For I in range 5, so let's put 5. For I in range 5, colon, you see the colon. You see it goes to the next line automatically. You see that it has the indentation. Look, tap, it has the indentation. And I want to also type attempt number I. So let's see what happens. 2 line of code. For I in range 5, it means repeat the process 5 times. And in each round, type attempt number, print attempt number and print the number. So let's see what happens. You see attempt number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you change I to A for A in range 5, go and print A. You see that it's working. For W in range, print W. It works. For QWER, print QWER. It's the counter. It works. So it's all up to you. It doesn't push you to use I. It's a counter. It means that for each attempt, print attempt number and also print the number. So you can put anything. For OP, OPP. It should be OP, OPP here. Any name, any letter, any word, it works. But they should be the same. For example, here, if I say for OP, OPP, and here I put OP, OP, Python doesn't recognize it. So what is that? Look, it says it's not defined. I don't know what do you mean. So whatever you put here, it's totally fine. For simplicity, we use I, but you can use any other digit, any other letter or character. For I in range, go and print I. So I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What happens if you change 5 to 10? So it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 10 times. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very fast. What about 100? For I in range of 100. So it goes and prints 0, 1, 2, all the way down to 99. If you change this to 1000, so fast. So here it goes and print attempt number 1000 times, and then it stops. So when you know how many times you want to repeat something, we can use for. 12 started from 0, so it's count for 0 as well. It's important. It doesn't start with 1, it's start with 0. And when you say 12, it means repeat it 12 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 times. So we name this simple repetition. Another things that you can do, if I go back to my board, simple repetition. The next one is counting with range. Counting with range. The syntax is similar. You can type for I in range. For I in range, but you can define the beginning and ending of your end. In the previous case, I said 5 times, but you can define your range. For example, range from 6 to 73. For I in range 6 to 73, you need to have colon, and you can again print something. Again, you need to have indentation, space, and then print something. So the difference between this one and the previous one, in the previous one, you had only one element inside the parentheses, which was 5, repeated 5 times, and it's started from 0. Sometimes you don't want to start from 0. You want to start somewhere in the middle. So let's just see how it works. This time for I in range, 6, comma 73. So I separated the beginning and ending by a comma. For I in range 60, colon. It's important. If you fail to put the colon, it gives you an error. So you can print something like this: packet I sent successfully. Let's see what happens. So again, I have a range. I have the beginning, which is different from 0. I don't want to start from 0. Here I have a string, and here I have I. Let's see what happens. So you see that it's a start from 6. It's a started from 6, not 0. Packet 6 sent successfully. Packet 7 sent successfully. So it's good for repetition, and it goes all the way down to 72, not 73. Why? Because it repeated this time 66 times. It started from 6 and ended with 72. What happens if you delete 6? It's a start from 0. Look, it's a started from packet 0 sent successfully. And it goes all the way down to packet number 72. If you want to start from packet number 20, you don't want to send all the packets. So you can define the beginning of the range, start from packet number 20, and go all the way down to 73. So you see that it started from 20. Cool. So let me go back to my board. We will have so many examples using 4 as well. So both of these situations, we can use it when you know how many times. But what if you don't know how many times you want to repeat something? So if I go up, you see that there are two main types of loops. For loop, when you know how many times, while a condition is true. So now let's do also see how while works. So when we use while, when we don't know, when you don't know how many times you want to repeat something. We use while. For example, example might be something like this. Let me switch my screen to go to Colab. Okay, then let's give you an example. Like countdown. Countdown. Imagine your counter is 10 while count or counter is bigger than 0. So you want to repeat a process starting from 10, go to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, but you want to stop before 0. So you can have a counter like this, counter start from 10, and sorry, it should be while counter is positive, it means it's not negative. You need to have colon. Then you press enter, automatically you see that it goes one block to the right, print counter. So what happens here? The first digit is 10. So 10 replaced here in this line. Is 10 bigger than 0? Yes. So go and print it. So it prints number 10. In the next line, it says, okay, now reduce 10 by 1. So 10 minus 1 should be 9. Okay, so now in memory, I have 9. It goes back to this line again. Is 9 bigger than 0? Yes. So printed. Number 9 will be printed. Then again, it goes to the next line. Now reduce 9 by 1. Should be 8. Again, 8 goes up to this line. Is 8 bigger than 0? Yes. Print it, reduce it. 7. Is 7 bigger than 0? Yes. Print it, reduce it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 eventually. 1 minus 1 is 0. So 0 goes back to this line. Is 0 bigger than 0? No, it's not. So it will stop. Let us see. So when you run it, you see firstly it printed 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and eventually blast off. If you want to include 0, it's pretty easy. You can put an equal sign here. So it will include 0 as well. Look, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 0. Imagine you want to count up to 3. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then it says stop. So what it does, it goes and checks if this condition is true. It doesn't know how many times, it just check. If the condition is true, it keeps going. If the condition is false, it's a stop. Here in this example, when you have number 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 goes here. Is 3 greater or equal to 3? Yes. So print number 3. Okay, it's printed. What happens in the next round? In the next round, you have number 3 here. So 3 minus 1, it's 2. Number 2 goes to this line again. Is 2 bigger than 3? No. Okay, so if it's not, then stop the whole process. Terminate the whole process, just like killing the chain. If this condition is not true anymore, if it's false, then stop. Otherwise, keep going. Let's give you another example. Imagine I use the same example that I had here. So I copy this and I put it here. This time my counter starts from 1 and I want to increase in each step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and like that. So while counter is less than 10, print it and then increase it. What happens here? So it's a start with number 1. Is number 1 less than 10? Yes. So print it. Then go to next step, add 1. So 1 plus 1, it should be 2. 2 goes back to the second line. Is 2 less than 10? Yes. Print it. So number 2 will be printed. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So when you have number 9, 9 plus 1, it's 10. 10 goes to this line again. Is 10 less than 10? No. Okay, so I stop. Let's see. Look, so you have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But here is a stop. Why? Because when you have number 9, 9 plus 1 is 10. Is it less than 10? No. If you want also to include 10, you can put an equal sign here, and it will print number 10 as well. So what happens if you put number 100? It goes all the way down from number 1 to number 100. You can see number 100. What happens if you put 1200? So it will repeat this process 1200 times. And it's very quick. So it's so handy because at this stage, I'm just using very simple task. But imagine that you have heavy calculation. In just a few seconds, Python is able to perform all of those tasks for you. What happens if I change this to this? So think about it, what happens if I change less than to greater? While counter is greater than 1, keep repeating this. What happens, do you reckon? In the meantime that you are thinking, so passwords that limits the number of attempts use loops and range. Yes, pretty close. They use lockout policies. In the lockout policies, they have a counter, and yes, we will work in the next session. We will see what happens. For example, imagine you set maximum number of attempts 3 times. So in the previous class, we had an authentication checker for Maxwell. You remember this one? Let me find it. We had the authentication. Yeah, this one. So we had Maxwell and we had password as his password. What we did in the previous class was asking for a username and password, and if they've been correct, it showed access granted and welcome, and if it was wrong, access denied. So in that case, there was no limit. You could try it 2 million times. But in the next session, I use this same example, and then we put a counter. If you put a wrong password or a wrong password or a wrong username for 3 times, then it will block your account. It doesn't allow you to attempt it again. How to do that? It's very easy. You can add a for range like this. For I in range 3 or 2, it means only allows 3 times. For I in range 3 only allows 4 times. So it has a counter. When you put a wrong credential, for the first time, it say, okay, it's okay. For the second time, it's okay. For the third time, it's okay. If you put a wrong credentials for the fourth time, I still accept it, but this is the last chance. Then I lock you. We will work on that. We will work in this case to see how we are able to block access when maximum number of attempts has reached. Peter. Okay, so Peter example is a good one. You see, Peter has shared an screen shot, and in the screenshot you see it has 10 plus stuff, 9 plus stuff, 8 plus stuff. Why happens? It's a very good example. Let me share my screen. It's already shared. So let's see this. Where is it? Let me go to this case here. So counter was 10. If counter is greater than 0, not equal sign, let's rerun this code. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off. Why Peter got 10 blast off, 9 blast off? The reason is here print is not part of this block. If I send print one space to the right, it means that in each repetition, in each iteration, execute all of these 3 lines. Look, 10 blast off, 9 blast off, 8 blast off. So in each iteration, in each attempt, it goes and print the number, then it reduce it by 1, then it print blast off as well. If you send print out of the block, so this 2 lines is part of this loop, not the print. Print is out of the loop. So it goes and print all the numbers like this, 10, 9, all the way down to 1. And then in the last step, it prints this sentence. It's not part of this block. In the block, I have only 2 sentences. If you say, for example, in each repetition, print something like print, hey, what happens? In each attempt, it prints 10, hey, 9, hey. Look. Why? Because here, this print is a part of this block. There are 3 lines in this block. So whatever you have, it might be 3 lines, it might be 300 lines. It belongs to the loop. But this print is not part of the loop. Why? Because it doesn't have indentation. That's the importance of indentation. This print is 1 space to the right. It's like inside this loop. So what happens? Firstly, Python goes and finish the loop. When the loop finish, then it goes and print this sentence. You see, 10, 9, all the way down. When loop finish, then it print blast off. Otherwise, it keep working in the loop. When loop finish, then it goes to the next line. Otherwise, it just keep repeating the loop again and again and again and again. So what happens if your loop is indefinite? It's like this. Let me go back to the code. So here you see that I have a counter, it's 1. If 1 is bigger than 1, then print it and add 1 to the previous number. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4. It doesn't have anything to stop it, so it just keeps going. If I scroll down, you see that it keeps going. It keeps going. Look, because there is nothing to stop it. It keeps going. There is nothing to stop it. It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. There is nothing to stop it. So if you want to stop it, you need to have a break. You need something to stop it. For example, I can say, repeat this process while counter is more than 1, but it's less than 5,600. So now you have something to stop this process. Otherwise, it keeps going. As you see, it keeps going. If you scroll down, it goes. If you just leave your PC, it keeps going. Because there is nothing to stop it. It keeps going. So you need to stop it. Here I have something to stop it. I say just stop if the counter reach 5,600, stop. But if there is nothing to stop it, it's an indefinite loop and it keeps continuing. So in the next session, we will talk about continue, pass, and break. There are 3 controlling mechanisms. to control, otherwise it keep going. So one is brick, continue, and pass, that I will talk about them in the next session. These are the controlling mechanism to stop the process, otherwise it keeps going. Cool, okay. What else? Let me have a look on your chat. If I put 2 million, it might break. It doesn't break your PC, but yeah, it uses your CPU. It keeps going. But later on, we will see. For example, that's a type of uh, DDoS attack or DOS attacks. When you keep repeat sending something. In your case, yeah, Google Colab will handle it and it doesn't burn your PC, but that's a type of attack. So imagine you write a code to keep sending something to a server. We call this denial of service attack. And it's pretty easy for the security system to detect it. If they see that there are so many requests or so many packets are coming from a specific resource or IP, they simply block it. They don't allow too much traffic to come through to network. But yeah, sometimes it happens in my cybersecurity classes when we run a DOS attack on a virtual platform. Yeah, some of the students they lose access to the computer for a couple of minutes. They need to restart it. But in this case, no, it just keep going. Thus, bearing in mind that even the cheapest and simplest modern consumer-facing computer, like a smartphone, can run something like a Python for a while loop dozens of times in a fraction of times or seconds without breaking a switch, correct? My one has plus stuff on everything because everyone has the lots of print outside the loop. Thank you, Lean, Peter. Good. One more bad example on here. Yes, because you don't have any controlling mechanism, so it's just keep going. You need to stop it, otherwise it keeps going. While counter is positive, just keep going. So what you say in your code, Peter, you say just keep going and add 1 to the previous number, add 1 to the previous number, add 1 to the previous number. So it just keeps going because it doesn't have anything to stop it. The condition is true. So when the condition is true, it keeps working. Cool. I think that it's all enough for today.